Canyon bicycles. You guys know I love talking about Canyon bicycles. It could be me either hating on them or either praising them for their bike prices. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about something pretty serious here. Canyon sales up 23% in the first 3 quarters. And it seems where every other bicycle company out there is struggling in the year 2023, where everyone has a ton of inventory, slow sales, Canyon is dominating this aspect in terms of moving product, but their profitability declines compared to 2022 numbers. In today's video, we'll be talking about why Canyon is moving product so well. We'll talk about what is going on in the bicycle industry as a whole, and also talk about why I think Canyon does such a good job at sales right now. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video. So I'm sure you guys have seen a ton of my videos where I talk about how the bicycle industry is doing. A lot of manufacturers, retail businesses have a stock hold of inventory, struggling to move it. The economy is going low. Inflation is going up. People have less money to spend on fun stuff like bicycles and everything like that. And bicycle prices are going higher and higher because of inflation. So what that is, it leads to a stockpile of inventory, no one buying, the demand not there, and basically a standstill in terms of the bicycle sales. Recently, Black Friday just went by, and a lot of companies, e-commerce, retailers, even bicycle manufacturers, direct-to-consumer companies made really good, I think, movement of inventory. I don't know about profits, but movement of inventory in terms of the sales that were out there. I saw some crazy sales in terms of below my cost prices for components, crazy last year model discount for these bicycles. So Canyon just came out recently and posted this article, or bicycle retailer posted an article saying that Canyon sales went 23% in the first 3 quarters, which is huge because at 2022, during this time, at the beginning of 2022 to the 3rd quarter, it was still kind of those COVID numbers. People were still kind of moving inventory. There was still kind of a demand. Inflation wasn't that high still at that point. And so you're comparing these numbers to a point where inflation's at an all-time high. People's cost of living is through the roof, and they're still moving massive amounts of product during these 3rd quarters. Profitability declines. That is almost a given. And I'm going to say this right now in the bicycle industry. I think right now for everyone out there, manufacturers, e-commerce, and retailers, I think this is more of a repair year or kind of like a restructure year where a lot of people that are stuck with this kind of inventory are just kind of trying to get their numbers back to where it was before pre-pandemic, like 2019, kind of get their overall inventory number or what it was, what their sales number was, maybe bring down employees, just trying to get back to a normal number that seems right and not go off these crazy over-order numbers that we're going through during the pandemic, like triple times what we usually order. So there is going to be that profitability declines because I think, like Canyon, a lot of people, including all these other bicycle brand manufacturers, component manufacturers, everyone out there is literally just dumping things for what they can get out of it, get their money back basically. Because what a lot of people did during that COVID time when they got all this money and they were making a ton of money, a lot of people invested back into their business, invested back into inventory, and now all their money is pretty much stuck up in this inventory. So I think that's the reason why this profitability declines. But let's jump into what they're saying right here. Basically, they said increase from 23% in the first 9 months of 2023, according to a statement. 621 million euros in the first 9 months of 2023, which is crazy in sales, total sales, which is 670 million USD dollars in today's exchange rate. That is going up from 506 million euros in the same period of 2022. So that is a nice increase, but obviously profitability is not the same. Canyon recorded a loss of 1.3 million euros in the 9-month period, whereas in 2022, they compared it to a net profit of 13.5 million. Now you guys might be thinking there, GC, how are they successful in 2023 if they lost 1.3 million? Well, during this time, it's not just moving inventory and sales, all that matters. They're also expanding their business. They're growing with increasing employees, increasing value in terms of inventory, maybe expanding with marketing, adding athletes, adding advertisers, everything across the range, adding more inventory to sell. So yes, it could be a loss of 1.3 million in terms of total value, but they probably also invested kind of money to where they needed to go. So again, in the grand scheme of things, 1.3 million is a big number, but to a business their size, I think that they're doing pretty well in terms of maybe acquiring assets and putting that money where it needs to be utilized at. So they increased their total assets from 10% at the start of the year to 15%, which is always great. So now they have actual like assets of their own. And then Canyon's employees count rose from 1,400 at the end of 2022 to 1,695. So again, this is trending and expanding, which is good, where you're seeing all these other companies, even like Amazon, Google, you're seeing all these kind of massive layoffs. This is a good sign for anyone that's looking at this company, seeing that they're expanding with employees. They have the money to grow. They're putting new employees where they need to be at to get kind of things flowing of where it can be at. Now, this is, I don't think, any new news to anyone, but when I talked to some gentlemen from BMC when they came into my store, they said that USA is like the wild, wild west in terms of discounting. Like, you go to anyone's bicycle manufacturer website, they just offer throw discounts as soon as you log in, like 15% off if you sign up on your email list, whatever. So right here it says GBL called out Canyon's USA operations for contributing significantly to the overall performance, noting that Canyon USA competitors had to engage in heavy discounting over this period. And I think this is true because during that Black Friday time, or even leading up to that Black Friday time, or even the holiday time right now, all these other big name manufacturers that aren't direct consumers were running heavy sales. Specialized included, Trek included, Cannondale included. Everyone pretty much with massive amounts of inventory were doing massive discounts. So if Canyon wanted to stay relevant, even if they had good prices direct to consumer, they had to appear to give off discounts. So during that Black Friday deals, they were doing discounts, but it wasn't these massive deals. I mean, obviously on their older models, like the older Grail, on their older mountain bikes, but on their kind of like higher end stuff, like the Aero Road, maybe with lower end components, they're offering like $500 discounts, like right here, like from $8,000 down to $72,000, from $98,000 down to $89,000, which is like $1,000, which is still a great discount for an already aggressively priced bike. But if you went to more of their recently launched bike, like the Ultimate, they had from $10,000 down to $9,500 for a SRAM bicycle. This bicycle was just released by them, so it wasn't a crazy amount of discounting for the in-demand stuff, but their out-of-demand stuff, they were just, again, moving inventory to go ahead and regain some of their money. So that is a real reason why you have this massive amount of sales of 23% growth. Anyone will look at that number and be like, wow, it's a great number for quarter three of 9 months. But when you're discounting heavily to compete with competitors out there, basically you're just trying to stay relevant at that point, and you're taking it as a win. You're basically saying, we're moving product, we're getting our cost back out of it, and we're able to go ahead and take that money and put it towards either expanding to a new warehouse, employees, or buy new inventory for 2024 coming out. Within this time period as well, they said that some of it was because of lack of suppliers. They had a supplier issue affected by availability for Canyon's road bikes and gravel bikes. So they probably would have even projected even more sales in terms of that. And if that was their road and gravel bikes that were actually selling, like the new release Grail, like the new release Endurance bike, and also their Aero Road, those would have been profitable sales that probably would have came back to them. So that number might have been a little bit higher. So as much as I always give Canyon crap, this is where they really do succeed. And I have to just give credit when credit's due. I can't just act like I'm not going to talk about it, it's going to disappear. This is really what Canyon does best. They're a direct-to-consumer business model. As I always complain about, I can't compete with their prices. In a time where the economy is very harsh, where the cost of living is very high, and budget is priority, the first thing anyone's going to do when looking at buying something is going to look at budget first. I think Canyon really does take the cake in terms of what they have to offer right off the rip. Maybe if you do some more digging and maybe you're more in detail or something like that, or maybe you know what you want, you might be able to like, well, apples to apples, I might be able to grab something over here. But to the new consumer, to the one looking for that easy upgrade, Canyon is very appealing in terms of that. They have really competitive prices that draw that in. And the second thing that Canyon's really doing that I noticed this year is their advertising, their marketing. Not only with just their Grand Tour wins, like, I mean, you have a ton of people literally winning right here. Canyon Bikes won 13 gold medals in the UCI World Championships earlier this year, while also winning Gravel World Championships, E-Enduro World Cup overall, and Triathlon World Championships. They are winning a lot of events, and I think Canyon does a good job at picking the athletes that are doing really well. But you have other things like Miami Blazers Crit Team, like how Specialized has Team Legion. You have Miami Blazers Crit Team that is riding Canyon bikes, which looks badass. Their bicycles look sick. Their team looks sick. Shout out to Miami Blazers. Their swag just looks really cool. They're targeting a different audience. And they have a really good presence on Instagram, YouTube. And then not only that, you see other younger athletes or just like even amateur level athletes on the Canyon bikes, because I think that Canyon has probably a bigger marketing budget without having to deal with retailers. So they literally take what they might like work with retailers and they put that towards of advertising and marketing. So I think Canyon has done a really good job in terms of taking a bike brand, working with people like vegan cyclists, working like teams like Miami Blazers, working with this kind of younger generation, being in your face all the time with social media, that they're making themselves aware, obviously. I mean, they've been around for a long time, but they're just more and more in your face. Also here, they're saying that they released about to open up a 4th brick and mortar service center, which is good for them, but I think this is over in EU. And then also have their 300 affiliate service partners with VeloFix, all these other brick and mortars, 17s that are partners with them as well. But at the end of this, Kane said, is steering towards a successful close to a 2023 business year. And I would have to agree, if this was a fixing year for us, 2023, which it was, and we're just kind of like, hey, this is a rebuild year, just move inventory, we're okay with it, get back some more money that's in bicycles, I will be very happy with up 23% in sales. I think that just in terms of what I know from our store, we're definitely not up 23% in those first 3 quarters. We're good, but we're not 23% up. And we're probably right around that profitability or maybe a flat line where we're on top of it. But I don't know about declining because we're not growing like crazy like that. But we're definitely above it, but not where we want to be at. So I think this is a really big win for such a big corporation or such a big bicycle manufacturer like Canyon to have this kind of exposure. You're still getting the clicks, you're still getting the sales, you're still getting the demand there, and then the profitability declines. I think that whenever this stuff starts to kind of reset, they still will be relevant. They still will have the kind of forefront there in terms of competitive price point, and people will be interested. So yeah, I thought that was pretty crazy news to see that they are 23% up in the first 3 quarters. So let me know what you guys think. Is Canyon, when you think of the bicycle industry, who do you think is having the best successful year in terms of 2023? Anyone out there? Direct consumer, direct to business, Specialized Trek, Cannondale Canyon, Bianchi, Scott, Pinarello. Who was having the best bicycle year out of everyone out there? Let me know what you guys think. This is it for GC Performance. Signing out is 12/5, 10:45 p.m. I built a new keyboard last night. Let me show you this junk. It is a injected mold, I believe, polyurethane. Oh, that's cool. It's a green screen. Really cool though. Sounds really badass. I kind of like building things like that. It's very cool. And this is my other keyboard too right here. Acrylic keycaps. So I have a different acoustic. And that's like I think a sandwich mount. Which is really badass. I don't know. I just want to let you guys in a little bit on my life. I've been very busy. Sorry with the lack of videos. I still have upcoming the Polygon Helios A9X video to release. My final review on that. And just sales have been crazy for us right now in terms of end of the year. Summertime is busy for us right now. So sorry the lack of videos. Anyways, guys, I'll talk to you guys later. I'll see you guys in the next video.